Okay, so continuing on from last time, we're going to start with an absolute banger, but I'm going to warn you, this is a long story. So this screenshot right here, I got silenced again. And when I got silenced the first time, I thought it was like a one-time thing, but I quickly was getting silenced, like left, right, and centre. This is probably like my 4th time. If you don't know how the silencing system works, it's like at first you get silenced for like an hour or something, right? But it doubles each time. And it was getting to the point where I was getting silenced for like 24 hours. In this screenshot, apparently, I was on for 5 minutes before I got silenced. Now you have to keep in mind, a lot of people must be thinking like, well, you have to be doing something to get silenced, right? Like, are you taking the piss? What are you doing? Why'd you keep getting silenced? No. I don't know if they've changed it since, but back then, all you needed to silence someone was 4 people, right? So you got 4 people on Discord, and when they said something in any chat channel, you all reported them for spam, like in sync, right? So you did a countdown, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, report, and they would get disconnected and silenced. And this kept happening to me over and over and over again. And it got to the point where I thought to myself, what's the point of playing an MMO, right, which is all about, people have forgotten this, but it's all about social interaction and community, if I can't speak to people? This screenshot essentially explains how stupid this system is. Like, can anyone see the blatant flaw in this design? I just say to my guildie, because you can still talk in guild chat. I say, Ginny, can you do me a favour? They say, what's up? I say, tell/join world, Mcmana has been silenced yet again and is taking this trolling to a game master this time. I demand justice. And there he goes, he says it. So, in a way, I can still speak. I just have to do it by proxy, right? So what's the point in the silence? And I wasn't joking, as you can see there, I have a Game Master ticket open. I don't know if anyone's tried to contact Activision customer support in the last few years or so, but they're about as useful as a condom in a cathedral. I mean, it was absolutely useless. I explained to them the situation in great depth. They take about 40 hours to get back to me. You know when you're offline and you've got a ticket open and they send you a mail? But if you're online, they'll talk to you. Well, I was online and they still sent me a mail. And they said, I'm sorry I couldn't get in contact with you. I was like, you could, you lazy bastard. You just chose not to. They saw I was online and chose not to speak to me. Oh, and they basically told me to go fuck myself. So I was livid. I really was. I mean, this early on into Classic, I was thinking of cancelling my subscription because I was so livid. I've never had worse customer support in my life. It's like, you guys have created a flawed system that is fucking me over. I complain to you about it and you don't do anything about it. I was livid. But what can you expect from Blizzard, right? In hindsight, what do you expect, right? I mean, come on. I had a podcast going on at the time. And it was basically a show where I just ranted for about half an hour, roughly half an hour, on whatever topic came to mind, right? So I would rant about Amazon Alexa, I remember. You know, I hated them. I said that everyone who owns one of those monstrosities doesn't understand the word privacy, right? Anything that came to mind, I would just rant about. And this time, inspired by this event, I decided to rant about bad customer service. And I was using Blizzard, obviously, as an example. And a guildie of mine called Gerald, you know, that remember the Paladin, he was like, wow, Mcmana, I can't believe, you know, what's happened to you. You're being treated really badly. I was like, yeah, I know. And he said, would you like me to link your podcast to Reddit? And I said, Gerald, that sounds like the worst idea ever. So he was like, no, trust me. You know, I use Reddit a lot. They're cool guys. They'll back you up, right? So I was like, okay, whatever. So I go to bed, and the next day, Gerald sends me a message, a whisper. As soon as I come online, he sends me a whisper. He says, Mcmana, I'm so sorry. The post didn't go down well. And I remember thinking to myself, well, no shit, Gerald. No shit that posting a socially conservative podcast on a website full of progressive molesters was a bad idea, right? And he says, no, you don't understand, Mcmana. It didn't just go down badly. It went down really badly. And I was like, what do you mean? And he shows me this comment.
Too long didn't watch. A 30-minute video of an entitled Babby crying about how he got muted indefinitely by the people of the server because they're fed up of dealing with this idiot in general chat. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, just like your guildie told us on Reddit. Oh, and way to stick it to the high road by threatening your guildie to demote him if he doesn't do the messenger for your on Reddit. Because I guess you're too much of a pleb to post it yourself.
So obviously I was very confused. So I go to Gerald and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about that I threatened to demote you? And Gerald says to me that he put that there as a joke to lighten the mood. And I'm like, Gerald, Americans don't understand sarcasm, you bumbling buffoon, especially not the low IQ trogs of Reddit, right? So I was like, who the hell is this guy? And I was about to respond to him, but Girold said, no, Mcmana, you don't understand. This guy's a streamer. And I was like, oh no, right? Because I'm sure you guys know what streamers are like, right? Like streamers, you know, they're people who get money thrown at them every 5 minutes, their egos are through the roof, and their fans, the stands, are fanatical. So I was thinking like, oh fuck, if I've pissed off a streamer, all my podcasts are gonna get spammed, and I mean, what a fucking nightmare. And Girold says to me, like, he links me the guy, right? He links me a video of the guy. Here he is, right? And he's playing like, I don't know, one of those crappy survival games that everyone was playing back then. And as you can see, like this guy's clearly like a very well-established streamer, right? I mean, you can see like latest donation, latest follower. And what was even more scary was look in the corner there, he's sponsored by all these big brands, right? Like Logitech, Scuff Gaming, like geez, and there's one called STD. I can assure you, in Britain, STD stands for something that you really wouldn't want to be sponsored by, but I digress. But I'm thinking to myself like, oh fuck. So I've pissed off a streamer, great. And Girold says to me like, Mcmana, wait until you see how many views this guy's got. And I'm like, what do you mean? How many has he got? And he said 6. And I'm like, 6 what? 6 million? 6,000? Like what? And he says, no, 6. And I was like, 6? What do you mean 6? And I just burst out laughing. But here's the thing, I wasn't laughing because he only had 6 views, right? Because, look, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, right? I mean, I know what it's like to come out with masterpiece after masterpiece and constantly have them underappreciated. I mean, there's videos of people rubbing slime on their nipples that get millions times more views than I do. You know, no, absolutely not. I was not laughing at him because of his small audience. I was laughing because this guy with 6 views, full stop, 6 full stop, makes me look like PewDiePie. 6 views, pretends to be sponsored by brands like Logitech. And I just thought to myself, my god, what a sad bastard. Most negative comments are from like anonymous people with like anime profile pictures, so who gives a shit, right? But the fact that this guy went out of his way to spout this vitriol, and he has the audacity to put himself out there and is this pathetic, it just infuriated me. What a poser. Anyway, it's been almost 2 years since this happened, and while making this, just out of curiosity, I decided to take a look and see how he's doing. And ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to report that he no longer has a mere 6 views, but a whopping 9. Alright, back to the shots. Yeah, I've always thought this screenshot was quite amusing, just 3 gnomes dancing and everyone else looking like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Yeah, this is me in Scarlet Monastery, and someone who was claiming to be a real-life drug dealer kept whispering me, saying like, don't mess with drug dealers, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and I just thought that was amusing, so yeah, there you go. Okay, and yeah, this is the first ever screenshot I have of Warzerg. Yeah, I decided to make a Horde Warrior on the lowest populated realm at the time, which was Dragonfang. And the point was that whenever I got sick of being silenced, right, or tired of running the guild, I could just come on this character and sort of, you know, it was kind of like a meditation character, right? Like you could just go on this guy, level up on your own solo, do quests, take it easy, relax, you know. Some people might say, maybe if you're sick of the game, maybe you should do something else other than play the game. I say, shut the fuck up, you filthy casual. This is a cool screenshot. It's obviously Mcmana in the middle of Stormwind, and someone's obviously just done the attunement quest, right, for Anixia, I think. And all the guards are kneeling at the side, and I don't know, it just looks cool. Okay, so yeah, this is me and McGregor, and we're leveling up in Tanaris. We've just both got our mounts. We came up with an idea that rather than do the boring Tanaris quests, I mean, everyone who's been in Tanaris, you know what I'm talking about. We decided to go full-on Zuma Mage Blizzard AoE spam scum, and yeah, hey, it worked though. You got a ton of experience really quickly. Yeah, we had 3 mages, just spam Blizzard, and obviously because we're Frost, the 3 of us, they can never get anywhere near us, right? So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, this is me and Tiveron. Tiveron was a really cool guy who was an officer in Mint. He was a gnome mage just like me, but I feel Okay, I really... Do I want to tell this story? Okay, I will do. So Tiveron used to listen to my podcast, and one day I was talking to him, and I got a notification that someone had commented on the podcast, and no one listened, right? No one listened except me, Girold, Tiveron, and when someone commented, I was like, oh, what's this? And, right, it was a nice comment, right? It was like something like, nice podcast or something, right? But I said to Tiveron, I was like, hey, someone just commented on my podcast, but dude, his picture is like the ugliest person I've ever seen in my life, right? Like, and it was like this really fat guy, right? And he didn't look the best, let's just put it that way. And Tiveron said to me, yeah, Mcmana, that was me. Oh, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh God, you know, because I was really ripping into him. I felt so bad, and Tiveron never treated me the same after that. And really, can you blame him, right? So embarrassing. Here's another modern art piece. I call this one The Dwindling Light, okay? And the point of this is that, look, the sun rises, the sun falls. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about your situation. Like, look, the sun's gonna fall. There's nothing I can do about that. It's gonna turn nighttime. I can't talk to the sun. I can't say, no, please just stay up a little bit longer. It's not going to. You can't talk to the sun. You can't negotiate with the sun. It's gonna come down. It's gonna turn night. It doesn't matter if you fear the dark. It's gonna happen. And the point is that sometimes life is out of your hands, right? And that's just the way it is. So you just gotta deal with things as they come. This was a guy called Yardi, and I remember this guy. I never knew him, I never really talked to him, but all he used to do was insult me in world chat until he realised that I was silenced. And when he realised I was silenced, he stopped insulting me. And we actually, he teamed up with me then, because he was really against censorship, which is essentially what it was. And I always thought that was very unusual, right? Like, someone can despise you, then they realise you're being treated badly, and rather than, take pride in that, they kind of side with you instead. I thought that was very unusual. It shows good values, I think. And yeah, this was the first ever documented use of the Free Mcmana hashtag, written by none other than a guy called Justice. Is there a better name to say that? I don't think so. And yeah, here I found someone who was actually called Mint, right? So the same name as my guild. I thought that was amusing. Here's a screenshot of just my ZF group posing with the mounts. You know, when you get your level 40 mount, you feel like a badass, right? So yeah, even if they are crap, but yeah. Here I am. I think I accidentally used a spell or something on like a Gadget's Ambruiser. I can't remember. Oh no, I might have accidentally attacked a horde or something like that. And they all just started completely destroying me, and here's me on the verge of death saying, how the hell am I going to get out of this one? Yeah, here was a guy called Gotter Funken, who I remember distinctly was a German guy, and here he is bragging that he makes more money than us. And I said, against the Northerner, that's not much to brag about. I think North Koreans make more. I don't know why I thought that was so amusing that I screenshotted it, but it's true. Okay, so I remember this crystal clear. There was a guy called Woohoo, right? And he was a cool guy, but I remember he was telling me a story, alright, how he has 2 ladies. And I was like, why, are you a Mormon or something? He was like, no. He said, I've got my main bit and I've got my side bit. My main bit is the lady who lives with me, right, and she makes my food and all that stuff. But the side bit, that's the lady who, I'm really interested in, And I was like, okay, why don't you just make the side bit the main bit? If you like the side bit more than the main bit, why not just get rid of the main bit and stay with the side bit, right? And he was like, no, dude, come on. Why have one when you can have 2? And I remember I just thought that was so... Obviously, as a very conservative and religious person, I thought that was so fucking despicable. But at the same time, I thought it was really amusing. But, yeah. I can't wait for the next flood. Can you? And yeah, the Funken guy who was bragging about cash, he was in Mint, and I say here, Funken's life has completely changed since joining Mint, and he just says, for the worse. And yeah, this is just a nice screenshot of me and Tiveron doing whatever the fuck this dungeon's called, Blackrock Depths, right? I don't know who the other guy is, but I don't like his guild. Also, look at how ridiculous we all look. We look like the Chuckle Brothers. Looks like we've just walked, put a bunch of random clothes on. It's ridiculous how bad casters look while leveling up, I gotta say. And yeah, here's another one, just a nice shot. Okay, here's another modern art piece. I call this one Aiming Higher. Right, and as you can see, it's in the middle of Stormwind, and there's a rat there, right? And you know, a rat, like they're considered like quite a lowly species, like a rat, right? Like who wants to be a rat? But you see the rat and he's looking up, right? And the rat is looking up to, and he's dreaming. He's like, you know, one day I'm not gonna be a rat. I'm not just gonna be a rat, right? I'm gonna be something. He's aiming higher, he's dreaming. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're all just rats, right? We're all just aiming high, looking at the sky, going, one day. But you know, you can't think one day. It's not one day. It's gotta be now day. It's gotta be today, right? That's what you gotta do. I think that's inspirational. I'm tearing up here. Right, and here the Bandthok sash just dropped from Blackrock Depths Arena. And if you're a caster, you'll know that the Bandthok sash, that was like pre-raiding best in slot, right? So it was like a big deal. And as you can see, we've got multiple casters in the group who wanted it, and yeah, I don't believe I won this. I think Tiveron won it, but yeah. So thanks, Tiveron, you bastard. Here is me saying in officer chat, I'm surprised that Michael isn't on, and then a second later he comes online. I just thought that was funny. Yeah, so here, right, just remember earlier I was mentioning Meagle and Templars of the Light? This is like the other Templars, and it was an all-Romanian guild, but I tell you, they were really nice people, and so friendly. I don't think I've ever played a game with more friendly people than these guys, just so polite. Alright, this is a guy who was in our guild called Bruh Moment. Something that annoyed me about him is that he had an accent in his name. And I thought to myself, like, if you have an accent in your name, unless it's like a German name or something like that, right, then it makes sense. But if you have like an English word and you put an accent in it just so you can get your name, I think you should just get a different name, right? Like, if you want to be called Steve, but you have to be called Steve with like a weird little comma above the E, just call yourself something else. And, you know, it was at this point that my oppression, which is what it was oppression, was started to be known by the general public, and my campaign to free Mcmana was getting out there. This is me and a guy called Birdo. I don't know why I didn't turn the names off for this screenshot, because it looks bloody awful with the names on, but yeah, Birdo, guy in Russia, he was always really miserable. Think of the stereotypical Russian, you know, like never smiles, right, like very serious. He was always like that. But he was extremely friendly, and I thought it was such a strange juxtaposition to have someone around who was very friendly but never smiled, right? Like very like, right? We're not like that in the West, you know. Like you can tell when I'm smiling and when I'm not. But these imagine if I just spoke like this all the time, and I never smiled. I was always like this. You would be a bit freaked out. You'd be like, is this guy like a Terminator or something? But that's what he was like. But he was a really cool guy. There was a guy on the server called Shylock, and I still have no idea anything about him at all, but he was like also despised on the server, and he said that we should team up. So I met him in Dunmoreau with his officers, and he had a guild called Orbis Customer Synergies, and I really like that name. I don't know what it means, but I really like the name. And we teamed up, and we had like a little bit of a truce. It was kind of like a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing. Like, we're both despised. Let's not despise each other and make it worse, right? But yeah, he kind of disappeared after this, so I don't know what happened to him. Probably got banned. And here's the Savage Gladiator chain dropping from BID Arena, very rare. We had a hunter there, so yeah, he must have enjoyed that one. Here is me dead. I'm not sure why I took this screenshot. This isn't exactly something to be proud about, is it really? Oh, actually, I think I do know why. It's because in WoW, I die so rarely that when I do actually die, people need to take a screenshot, right? It's like, holy shit, he died. You know, quick, press the button. You know, like this never happened. So yeah, this was kind of like documented. I think this must have been like my first death. I must be like level 50 something at this point. Yeah, my first death. Crazy. Okay, here I'm in BRD, and I told someone that Boris Johnson has just resigned, and they actually fell for it and told all their friends on Discord that Boris Johnson just resigned, and then I said I'm joking, and then they were like, oh fuck you, I just told everyone I knew that Boris Johnson resigned. So the moral of this story is don't trust a word I ever say. Right, here's another modern art piece, right, and I call this one Think Again. right? And I call it think again because you look at this and you just think like, oh, what is this? This is just the sky, like boring, move on. But look carefully. Do you see it? It's clearly like a bird, right? Look, you can see the wing, right? You can see the body, you can see the head. And the point is, like, you might look at something or meet someone and think, oh, they're so boring. Oh, that's so boring, right? Think again. You never know. You never know. Don't be like, look, it's like the whole don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing. Well, this is like, judge a book by its cover, but do it twice. So then you're making sure that you make the right judgment. You know what I'm saying? Right. Anyway, this one requires huge IQ to understand. Now this is quite amusing. So I was told that the Horde are invading Elwyn, right? So I was like, bitch, you're not invading Elwyn, okay? This is my zone, okay? So I go there and I get a group together and we just beat the shit out of them. Like look, you can see them. They're like, oh crap, they're making a portal to Orgrimmar and running away. Like, what cowards? We're camping them at the graveyard. I mean, they just got demolished, and it's like, oh, is there anything better than spontaneous world PvP? And the answer is, hell no, there isn't. Good times. And this is a screenshot that I took when I finally dinged 60, and I have a video of this as well. Yeah, I'm just in like Eastern Plaguelands or whatever it is, just completing a quest, and I can tell you right now I was so glad to finally get to 60 because it took way longer than I thought it would. I thought I'd be done in like a week, and it's like no. It took a lot longer than I thought, but when you finally get to 60, what a sense of achievement it felt like, right? It was like, oh, finally, all those dungeons, all those quests, it's finally over. Unlike in, say, the Burning Crusade Classic, where you can just swipe your credit card. But anyway, it's a story for another time. Okay, so obviously my first priority after hitting 60 is getting everyone else in the guild to 60, because I'm pretty sure I was the only one at this point who actually was. So I decide everyone else is around level 45-ish range, right? So I decide, alright, I'll help the guild out and I'll boost people in Zul'Farrak. And here we are. And as I was arriving in Gadgetzan, I got told that our group was under attack by Horde. And I was laughing my ass off because I was thinking, oh, that's hilarious, because these guys have no idea that a level 60 is just about to come over and completely kick their ass. And that's exactly what happened. But you see, there's a problem here, because one of the people I decided to boost is a guy called Saxon, and you can see him here. And if you know anything about Saxon, you'll know that he's, a troublemaker. Because what this guy did was, just to piss me off, there's no other reason, just to piss me off, is he would go in world chat and or looking for group, and he would say, level 60 mage Mcmana, which you have to keep in mind was quite rare at that point, is boosting people in Zul'Farrak, like whisper me to get in his boost group, right? He would say to the people who whispered him, yeah, I'm his friend, my name's like Schlong, or Todger, or Chud, or, some sort of variation of a British slang word for a dong. Like he would say that's his name, and then he would say whisper Mcmana and tell him I sent you. So throughout the day, and I'm talking, this didn't go on for like a few hours, this went on for like a week, for like the next week, right? I would come online, and he would do this when I was offline, so he would spam the world chat saying, Mcmana, when he comes online, he's gonna be boosting people in Zul'Farrak, whisper me and I'll get you in a group. And every time I'd come online, I'd be spammed by people saying like, Todger said you'd boost me in Deadmines, Big Schlong said you'd boost me in Zul'Farrak. And honestly, it was so ridiculous, because I felt terrible for them, because I obviously wasn't, but I felt like I was scamming people. It's honestly a fucking ridiculous situation. But anyway, eventually we get some people to 60 and I decide to join some raids, and this was the first ever Molten Core that I was into, and it was basically like a free-for-all. It was like anyone who was 60 could get in, basically. They were inviting anyone, because there was hardly anyone who was 60 at the time. And so here we are. And yeah, the first boss dropped some Arcanist boots. And obviously this is Mage Tier 1, right? And I was a mage. I didn't have an epic item, so I wanted these boots. Did I get them? Of course I did, man. Come on, they don't call me the high roller for no reason. Get real. The problem was, though, is that at this point we were doing something called the +1 system, right? So you can basically only have one item, right? So this was it, I was done. Like, basically, I was here now for the rest of the raid for the experience. But yeah, the Molten Core, I'm not going to pretend like it was smooth, right? I mean, it was quite an experience, let's just put it that way. No one really knew what they were doing, even though the raid had been out for over a decade. You know, people make mistakes, and I think we were all just quite excited to be there, to be honest with you. But eventually, you know, you overcome it, and the bosses are easy as hell anyway. Like, come on, if you can't clear Molten Core, there's something wrong with you, right? And here we are in Molten Core the next week, and the Arcanist leggings dropped. And, hey, come on. I want that tier 1. Roll in there, the high roller strikes again with the 99. I got pants. Okay, now this one, right? So remember when I was talking about Fairy Tail, the anime guild, who were like really, really awful people? I'm pretty sure these are the guys who were behind my silencing, frankly. Well, I got sick of it, right? So I wanted to go... But when I have a problem with people, I don't like to talk about them behind their backs, right? I want to go head on. Let's talk. I wanted to talk to them directly, right? Because that's what you do. If you're like an insincere coward, you go around spreading rumors and plotting behind people's backs. But if you're someone with respect, you go and talk to the person you have a problem with directly and try and sort it out. That's what I've always done. It's what I always will do. But I knew they wouldn't talk to me directly if I asked, so I knew I had to ambush them. So what I did was I made a level 1 called Tree Hug, and I pretended that I was like new to the realm. And I whispered their guildmaster Seal, and I said like, yeah, I'm so glad to be here. And in their guild information right there, they had the link to their Discord. And so what I did was, I joined it as Tree Hug, right? I went in there and I said hello. And they were all really happy, like, hey man, welcome to the realm. But then they said, your voice is really familiar. And I was like, yeah, look, I'm going to come clean. I'm Mcmana. I just want to have a chat with you because I don't understand why you're poaching our members, why you're silencing me all the time, and what your problem is with me. I don't, like, what's the deal? And their guildmaster Seal, who was just like this typical southerner, right? It was just like, you are an offensive person. I do not like you. I do not wish to associate with you. Good day. And then I got banned. And I was like, why? What have I done to you? I just want to have a chat. You know, this is the thing that people don't understand. Diplomacy can go a long way. I'm open to talk to anyone who has a problem with me on anything, about anything. But I don't understand this mindset that more like people have in the current era we live in, where it's like, if you don't agree with them 100%, then you're an evil demon who deserves to be exercised. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that mindset. These people, I don't get it. Now, Fairy Tail, and specifically their guildmaster Seal, were very, very pissed off that I tried to talk to them like a normal human being. And so, rather than try and negotiate with me, instead what they decided to do was simply lie. And so they went around telling people that I was a ninja looter. Now, this was impossible because up to this point I have not led a raid, right? So how can I ninja loot things if I'm not the raid leader, right? It's because I was very lucky on my rolls. They thought, whoa, how has this cretin Mcmana got all this epic gear? He must be a ninja looter. So they went around perpetuating this false story. So it got to the point where I had to lead my own raids because people stopped inviting me to them. I couldn't get in any. So I had to make my own. And so yeah, here we are. And I can tell you right now, Jesus Christ, I never want to lead a raid again. You know, it is so infuriating because even if you have 39 intelligent people, so long as you have one idiot that can mess it up for the rest of them. You know, like here, for example, Baron Geddon. Oh my god. How difficult is it when you have the living bomb to walk away from the raid? I mean, how difficult is that? It's the easiest thing ever. Just run away, run away. No, this is what happened. And it was Shaundy, our mage, who was doing this because for some reason before the raid started, he thought it was a good idea to get drunk. And so here we are doing Baron Geddon, and he gets the living bomb, of course he does, right? And then he just wipes the raid because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He can barely see his screen. It's like a fucking blur. I was so pissed off at this. Honestly, I've still not forgotten this because it made us look so stupid. Because it's bad enough that people are going around saying that I'm a ninja looter. Now we just look like massive scrubs as well. But to make it up to me, the Arcanist belt dropped, and he needed it, and so did I, but he won the role. But he'd still decided to give it to me anyway, and I thought, oh wow, that's really nice of him. I only realised after that he was doing that because the next boss drops the shoulders, and that's what he really wanted. If I won the belt, then I couldn't win the shoulders, right? Honestly, what a clown. So honestly, so devious. Oh yeah, and here's Geralt. Do you remember Geralt, the paladin tank? Look what he's wearing there, folks. He's wearing a nice, pretty dress. You know why? Because he's our healer now. Ah, Geralt, I'm glad you finally learned your lesson. Here's Teramus, again. And once again, you know, guys, this was not me. This was not me, I promise you. This is me, Shaundy, and Ginny just dancing in the middle of Stormwind. I have no idea what the hell we were doing here, but yeah, there you go. I don't even know what this screenshot is. I have no idea what's going on here. It's me and like 4 dwarfs. All of us are in mint. I have no idea who these people are. I mean, it's past midnight and we're all just surrounding this person. I have no idea what's going on. Oh yeah, so I remember there was a really nice priest on our server called Golnaz. And in Molten Core you have like that priest staff, right? Benediction and Anathema. But you have to do a quest or something. I've never done it. But apparently there's like an eye or something that drops from a mob in Winterspring. And he asked me like, can you help me out? So I went down there to help him out. And yeah, we were there for like 5 hours and he never got the eye. And it was such a complete and utter waste of time. But hey, there you go. That's my charity work, folks.